Am I pleased? Well, I certainly think that the delay in putting the reef in danger is an acknowledgement of the good work that has been done by our current governments in recent times. So I think that's a good acknowledgement of that. There's certainly been really good work there, concrete climate targets now that we didn't have before. We've got increased funding for reef science. We've got improvements in our sustainable fisheries with gill nets being removed, really great moves. We've got increased improvement in farming activities. But, we have to face the fact that we've got a really urgent situation here for the Great Barrier Reef, and the window for saving it is closing. So it's not enough yet. We still need to do more.
You spent a lot of time on the reef and you were with inspectors, or you followed them very closely. The 10 days they were having a look and assessing the reef. What did they see under the water?
So we've had 4 bleaching events, as you know, since 2016, and the last bleaching event last year in a La Nina year was particularly worrying because that's when we expect to have cooler, more cloudy conditions. So they were seeing past damage. They were seeing some, recovery though, which was good news, but they're seeing water quality that needs to be improved still. And we're seeing certainly some improvements with climate change, but we're still seeing approvals of coal mines in Australia, and we need to do more in terms of reducing our emissions, considerably more, if we want to save the reef.
The Minister described the current government's actions on climate as night and day compared to the last government's. Are they doing enough, in your opinion?
Well, they're certainly doing a lot more than the past government were, but no, we need to do more. I think that we can't expect to save the reef if we're still opening new coal mines, for example. So I think we do have to just speed up our action on climate change as much as we possibly can. The window is... Yeah.
Oh, no, sorry, please. The window?
The window for saving our reefs is getting smaller and smaller. So we have to act really fast here.
I've been talking about global ocean temperatures being at record levels since, I think it was mid-March is when it started picking up. How concerned are you for the reef? Like, what sort of state is it in? How vulnerable is it right now if these heat waves, and in fact we've got one off the northeast right now, if they continue and in fact worsen?
Yeah, so we're terribly worried about the El Nino for this summer. So the problem is, we've had some good recovery in coral cover in the last few years, but with increasing temperatures continuing, what we don't want is to increase the frequency of those bleaching events. Reefs are really good at recovering, but they can't recover if they don't have time between events. And when we continue to increase emissions, we're likely to get bleaching events more frequently into the future. And that's going to be a really big problem for the reef.
Scientists often don't like me asking this question, but I'm going to do it anyway. Selena, how do you feel about the reef at the moment?
Well, I've been in this game for a long time, so I've seen considerable changes since the 1980s when I started working on reefs. And so it's terribly sad when you see bleaching events. It's a grief that you feel, and it's frustrating for all of those years of telling governments what would happen, and now we see it all unfolding, and yeah, it's very frustrating. So I'm really pleased to see improvements in the government's approach and management, but yeah, we really need to make this an absolute priority.
I'm sorry you have to, but I'm glad that you are turning that grief and frustration into good science. Thank you so much for joining us, Selena, and giving us an insight into how the reef is doing right now.
You're welcome. Thank you.